Welcome back to CEEN Caribbean News. It's now time for Indepth. The Zika virus has managed to reach the shores of many of the nations within Latin America and the Caribbean, with as many as 21 countries confirming the presence of the virus. And with the fear of the vector-borne disease spreading throughout the region, there are many questions being asked. The symptoms of the Zika virus are described as being milder than the dengue and chikungunya diseases, also carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. But one could hardly describe as mild the impact the disease has on newborn babies. It is widely believed that mothers who become infected with the Zika virus while pregnant are at risk for their babies being born with birth defects, such as microcephaly. To get a better understanding of Zika and microcephaly, we've been joined by medical doctor Dane Miller. Welcome to Indepth, Dr. Miller.
Hello, good evening.
Now, information surrounding the infection of the Zika virus says it is carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Does this mean that the mosquito is not a source of the virus, but is only a carrier?
Yes. What is known of the Zika virus is that humans are actually the natural host of the virus. It was discovered in human and other mammals, such as monkeys. It was discovered in Uganda in the 1950s. And since then, there have been outbreaks across the tropical regions of the world in West Africa and also in French Polynesia, that's in the Pacific Ocean. And now we are seeing outbreaks in Central and South America and the Caribbean. So the mosquito is really just a means of transmitting it between persons.
So then, can a person who does not come in contact with an Aedes aegypti mosquito be exposed to the Zika virus?
Well, as far as I know, no. So if you're not bitten by a mosquito, you should not contract the virus. You will contract the virus is transmitted from person to person through the mosquito.
Okay. Now, the Aedes aegypti mosquito is also the carrier of the dengue and chikungunya viruses as well as yellow fever.
Yes.
Can a person become infected with all four diseases at once?
Well, it is possible because all these viruses are actually, they are part of what they call the flavivirus family, which is a yellow fever virus family. They're all transmitted via mosquitoes. And what has been seen is that you have transmission of Zika usually after chikungunya outbreaks. So what the pattern that we have been observing is that you have chikungunya first and then you have Zika virus following.
Besides the mosquito, is there a direct connection between the two viruses?
Other than them, well, they have a similar structure. They are transmitted by the mosquito. They exhibit similar symptoms. And also what is significant is that this family of virus is noted to also cause encephalitis, which is inflammation within the brain. Also, another member of the family is the West Nile virus as well. So, well, it is not a common thing for it to cause an encephalitis. However, from what we're seeing now, it will be proven through research, but this Zika virus seems to be causing, I am hypothesizing that there may be of inflammation within the brain of unborn children leading to the microcephaly.
We're going to be getting to that in a bit. 1 in every 5 persons who contracts the Zika virus will show symptoms which goes away after a period of about 7 days, maybe more. Yes. But what happens to the virus in persons that show no form of illness?
Those who show no form of illness, it's really, they have contracted the virus, however their immune system responds to it in a different way, so they may not develop the symptoms as on a bigger scale as other people who their immune system, we're all different, so everybody's immune system reacts differently to the same thing. So I might contract it and come down really bad with the symptoms, while my brother might not.
Okay, but then does it mean that the virus, if I show no sign of illness, the virus will just leave on its own after about 7 days, as well as just as it does with somebody who shows signs of illness?
Yes. So you would have mounted an immune response to the virus. You would have developed antibodies, but your symptoms would not be the same as somebody who they would go through the same process of developing antibodies, but for some reason they have a more heightened response and develop symptoms as a result.
Okay. Now back to something you mentioned a little bit earlier, microcephaly. In newborns, microcephaly is one of the side effects of the Zika virus. But what is it?
Microcephaly, well, it has been defined as the abnormal, well, you could describe it as the small size of a newborn's head. What is classified as being 2 standard deviations below the normal. So there's a normal head size, and there are various measurements which fall within deviations, and if you're 2 deviations below, then you're described as having microcephaly. And it is also as a result of underdevelopment of the brain. So if you have an underdeveloped brain, then the head will not enlarge to accommodate the brain. So if your brain is small, the head size will be small as well. So very often microencephaly, which is a term used to describe small brain, is assumed when you are speaking about microcephaly.
At which stage of pregnancy is microcephaly likely to affect an unborn child?
Well, it is most likely to affect an unborn child during the stage of organogenesis, which is your first trimester. So this is a stage when you are actually developing all of your organs, and this stage is most critical stage one of the most critical stages within pregnancy, and as a result, any injury or insult that the unborn fetus sustains at this time can have devastating effects on the further development or even the viability of that fetus beyond to survive any insult that they sustain during the first trimester.
Can it be treated or cured?
Microcephaly?
Yes.
Unfortunately, once it has occurred, it can only be treated in a supportive manner. In that, you just manage the symptoms, because these children very often will suffer from seizures, mental retardation, and in some cases they have poor motor skills as well. Well, as they develop, their motor skills are noted to be poor, and in some cases they have a reduced life expectancy as well. So it is something that is very devastating to the unborn, to the child or the fetus if they sustain insult and develop microcephaly.
Are you aware of any other birth defects associated with the Zika virus at this time?
At this time, no. I'm not aware of any other birth defects associated with it at this time. And the incidence of the microcephaly is a recent one, because the Zika virus has been present in West Africa and, as I mentioned, in the Pacific Ocean since the 1950s, 60s, 70s. However, the incidence of microcephaly was not noted over this period of time. what has taken place or what has been noted in Brazil might be an indication that the virus is evolving and becoming more virulent, and as a result, hence the increased awareness and precaution that we all must take with this virus, especially pregnant or women who are planning to get pregnant, because as you mentioned, they may not show signs of the disease or have severe symptoms. However, the unborn fetus might be sustaining severe insult and damage to their brain as a result of the virus. So as has been said in the public sphere before, it is almost inevitable that the Zika virus will come here. But what we have to do is, especially those groups, and I'm speaking directly to pregnant mothers, pregnant women in their first trimester, as well as those who may become pregnant, that they be very careful and monitor themselves, and if they have any suspicion that they have the Zika virus, they should seek medical attention as soon as possible. Don't sit and wait, because this can have very devastating effects.
If a mother who is pregnant is exposed to the Zika virus, can she in any way prevent microcephaly from affecting her unborn child?
That hasn't, well, strategies to prevent the effect on the child would be tailored towards managing the symptoms and also monitoring the fetus to ensure that the fetus isn't in any form of distress, which might be indicated by an ultrasound scan or on blood investigations. So I haven't come across any recommendations to prevent the effect of the Zika virus on the unborn fetus, because as we're speaking, modern medicine is just recognizing this and taking steps to address it. But from my knowledge, I would recommend that if you are pregnant and you believe you have contracted the Zika virus, again, supportive treatment would be essential. Plenty of fluids, analgesics to prevent pain or fever, as well as proper nutrition, especially vitamin C and zinc, which can help fight viral infections.
Thank you.
Definitely to seek medical attention, especially an obstetrician gynecologist would be best.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, Dr. Miller.
Okay, you're welcome.